first of all, I was totally embarrassed by having my middle name be Creighton. I thought I'd been named after a building, and so I told everybody in my class at St. Cecilia's that my middle name was Catherine, and my grandmother was not pleased when she heard that.
Mary Maxwell is a living example of the mission of the Durham Museum. We are grateful to have a full-length interview of Mary now archived for all time. You're about to see excerpts from that conversation, concluding with a beautiful reflection by Mary on her hope for our community's continued vibrant growth. Please enjoy.
Of course, by the time I was in high school, I realized that having Creighton in my name was not necessarily a negative. You know? My great-great-grandfather was Francis Creighton, brother of Edward and John Hayes.
Okay.
And he served as the secretary for most of their business endeavors. So that was my connection. But there are hundreds of Creighton descendants in Omaha. Both my sister and I had polio. And I had it pretty badly. I was paralyzed for a long time. And so we moved in with my grandmother for those years. And that house was absolutely amazing. There was everybody who was anybody in Omaha had a home there, you know. Well, Kocher Brothers had a grocery store that was just east of 36th and Farnham. That was a great place to go. That was my favorite place to shop because they always gave us treats. And remember, I'm little, I'm a toddler, so.
You raised your family on North 38th Street.
On 38th Street.
So all still in the Gold Coast area.
Yeah. Well, the house that Chuck and I raised our family in was the ancestral home of the Sunderland family.
Okay.
And then
longtime Tile family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you couldn't swing a dead cat and not hit a descendant of the Creightons in that neighborhood, you know. And
what did you like about Brandeis?
It had the clock. Everybody, you could meet your friends under the clock.
Okay.
At Brandeis. That was on 16th and Farnham, and so that was an easy landmark to find your friends, and there was everything in the store. You know, good Lord, they had a beauty parlor, they had a restaurant, they had clothes, of course, and a toy department that was to die for.
And tell me about some of the restaurants you would love to go to, especially celebrating a special occasion.
Oddly enough, it's probably a restaurant you may not have ever heard of, Cantoni's.
I've seen an old menu of it before.
Have you?
But
it was on Leavenworth.
I was going to say, tell me where it was.
It was on Leavenworth, and I think it was east of 24th Street.
Okay.
Just east. It had spaghetti. I had, to that point in my life, never had spaghetti.
Interesting.
I didn't know pasta existed. So I thought that was the most exotic place ever. So that was one of my favorite places. And then, of course, the Orleans Room at the Blackstone Hotel. Governor was in charge of it, and he was such a neat guy. He was so dignified, so elegant, and if he called you by name, you were in. It was a great place.
And I know you have a rich heritage with Exarban. Tell us about it.
Well, there are lots of families that have multiple royalty in their lineage, but my grandfather was King of Exarban in 1900. So I'm guessing that being the turn of the century, that was a big deal. I don't know that for sure. My grandmother was a duchess. They had duchesses of Exarban. And then my mom was Queen of Exarban in 1928, and my dad was king in 1951. And it was fun.
Now, were you ever queen?
This would be the 66th consecutive year that I have not been the Queen of Exarban. Thank you very much.
So, Mary, why do you think it's important that we save and honor our Omaha history?
Well, it sounds like a cliche, but if you don't know where you've been, I don't see how you can know where you're going. So it's really important to know what's gone on before you and to remember some of the heroic things that happened here with families that took huge risks to form businesses and corporations that were successful. But, they didn't know they were going to be successful until they were. So they took risks and had faith that this community was going to survive and thrive. And so it has. I love Omaha. I think it's...
You have a granddaughter who's named after you. And as you look at Mary now, what do you see for her future? What would you like to see for her future in Omaha?
Well, more of the same, basically. I would like to have her grow up in a friendly community, a generous community. I think she will. I think she will. I think that that's kind of why I'm still alive, or above ground, as my kids say, because I'm a bridge to what happened there. I was not alive in the Roaring 20s, but I knew the people who roared.
Yeah.
And that's important to me.
What I love is this incredible renaissance that is happening in Omaha's urban core. I just believe our urban core is kind of our heartbeat, and you have to have a strong heartbeat. And I just love the whole renewed sense
that
of wanting
vibe that's going
and vibe to want to live in Omaha's urban core and want to have businesses in those old buildings. Tell me, what are you thinking about all these changes that are happening?
I think it's wonderful. I'm so glad that people still have vision. They have these wonderful visions of what can be done yet even better and further west. What's happening in the Blackstone area is amazing to me. I can't get over that, and that's my old stomping grounds, and so I'm just so tickled about that. But it's moving out, and then what they've done downtown on the riverfront with the Luminarium, my gosh, that is gorgeous down there, and I get so excited when I think about that, because I'm not going to live, please God, I'm not going to live much longer, and I'm not going to live to see much more happen, but look what I've seen happen.
Yes.
This is exciting to me. I love it. I just love it.
So, yeah, Mary, why do you feel like it's so important for us to have a strong history museum in the Durham?
Well, I guess it's pretty obvious that I like history, and I like to see it preserved. The Durham, gosh, it loomed large in my young life as a train station. I went to camp on a train that left from the Durham, from what was then the depot. But my people came home from war to the Durham, and I keep calling it the Durham. It was the train station at the time, but it was huge. And you parcel post. You had to go drive down to the station to the lower level, and you could pick up packages that were sent on the train to you there. Things like that. I mean, those were everyday life depended upon those things, and it was wonderful. And then, of course, there was the soda fountain. The soda fountain was fabulous. I mean, it was just woven into the fabric of your life. And now here it is preserving history for all of us. What a wonderful thing to do.